Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Rita Tiotia, distinguished panelist in the dais. I'm really grateful to the organizer and especially Mr. Ashish Channels for giving this opportunity to speak few words on the subjects of electronic waste management. That is maybe totally out of context from the discussion we are listening for last two days. But of course, there is a linkage. If you are having such a huge program of e-government in our country, you will be generating a lot of e-waste. And that is the real problem in our country. Now, before discussing the subjects, we should see how last 20 years our economy is growing. It is the fourth largest economy. GDP is 4.463 trillion in 2011. Sustained growth is almost 8%. Fastest growing forest reserves, it is nearly 300 billion US dollars in 2012. It was only 1 billion in 91. Largest working population of 30 to 40 millions in Indian middle class is adding on every year. 30% population is adding on into 25 to 44 years of age by 2020. Increasing urbanization and rising expenditure, that is obviously increasing the ICT penetration in our country. 47% of TV, mobile effectively is 59% as per the Census Commission of India. Fixed telephone is 10%. Internet users is 8%. Internet host is 3.1%. Broadband connection is 11 millions. Cars is 16 millions. Credit card is 18 millions. And new houses is 3.9 millions. This growth, of course, it is linked to our one of the sunrise industry. It started late 80s, ICT industries. So if you see our data, it is growing exponentially from 1988 to till date. 2011-12 figures, 117.26 billion US dollars of our software and hardware industries. Mostly the softwares and services are for exports in our country, 68.7 billion US dollars. Hardware is generally imported in our country. It is only 9.17 US dollars for your exports, but we are consuming, we are generating 29.6 billion US dollars. This industry has a contribution to the national GDP for 6.4%. Our growth in this industry is 18% by dollar terms. IT industry has generated almost 3 million professionals and 9 million indirect employment. We are just not giving the numbers. We have generated in qualities also. More than 100 companies are having a CMM level 5 certification. All those data I have shown you to see how the end of life electronics are growing in our country. There was no real inventory studies from government yet, but there are private sectors and NGOs and industry associations have ventured to find out what is the generation. In 2007, one initiative has been taken by GIZ and MET, and they have taken only 3 products: computers, mobile phone, and television. They have seen 3,33,000 metric ton of electronic waste, and they have taken a simple calculation of 7 years for televisions, shelf life, mobile for 1 year, and computer for 3 years. And there is a illegal import also. India is a signatory to the Basel Convention. USA is not. So there are issues. There are, we do not know the exact figure, but in this study they have projected that 50,000 metric ton of imported electronic waste in our country. And this is the condition in China, Brazil, India, and African countries also. But out of this 3 lakhs metric ton of generation of electronic waste, only 1/3, that is 1,44,000 metric tons are available for recycling, and out of which only 19,000 metric ton has been recycled. So this is also an issue that we are not getting the channelized that electronic waste generated in our country for recycling. And there are more than 5,000 electronic waste imported in 2005 itself. And the 270 medium and big scrap dealers are also operating in this country, and more than 5,000, 3 to 5,000 small recyclers involved in this country. Another study taken by CPCB and some other agencies has estimated that 2012, 8 lakh metric ton of electronics waste has been estimated. They have taken much more product than these three I have mentioned. And if I take that figure as a base and took a conservative 10% of growth in 2007, MATE and GTZ as estimated, so it will be nearly 2 million of metric ton of electronic waste by 2020. So what is the scenario of electronic waste in our country? Most electronic waste has been recycled by non-formal sectors in our country, that is 95%. 5% are coming in formal sectors. More than 5,000 non-formals are operating in this business. Mainly they are surrounded in metropolis. In Delhi itself, there are 10,000 to 15,000 operators, manpowers are working in these non-formal sectors. Already I mentioned 250 are the scrap dealers. And MOEF, Ministry of Environment and Forest, and CPCB have started registering the formal recyclers in our country. In 2008, they have given the 23 number of formal recyclers. Now this number has gone to 73, but frankly speaking, only 5 to 10 are operational. Now, what are the government agencies are responsible for these subjects? Electronic waste, like other hazardous waste, is a subject of Ministry of Environment and Forest. And they are making the laws, rules, and they are implementing it. CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, is basically implementing the laws, and they are acting with State Pollution Control Board, and mainly the imports and other hazardous materials coming to our country has been seen by DGFT and Port Authority of India. And these are the chronological order how the electronic waste has been addressed by different legislative measures in different point of time. Now we have a exclusive law of electronic waste. It has been initiated in 2011. Now from 1st May of 2012, it is enforced. And one part of this electronic waste is called ROS, that is hazardous substance in the electronic product. This will be effective from 2014. And the guideline of how to handle this law and what do's and don'ts for the different stakeholders is also being considered in the government level. It is in guideline of implementation of e-waste law 2011. Now, what are the present e-waste law in our country says? Chapter 1 is talk about the short title and different types of implementation mechanism. Chapter 2 is talk about responsibility. Chapter 3 is basically the producers and seeking authorization handling e-waste. Chapter 4 is how to store that e-waste. Chapter 5 is reduction of the hazardous substance. This clause will be enacted from 2014. And chapter 4 is the miscellaneous duties, responsibilities, transportation of e-waste, accident reporting, collection of data, storage, etc. And you have 3 schedules also. Schedules 1 shows that what will be the electronic waste in the present law. These are the items has been shortlisted to be considered as electronic waste in India. And this thing can be, the list can be more in the new amendment will come. And this is the schedule 2 talks about the hazardous substance like the 6 substances like lead, mercury, chromium 6 plus and flame retardant bromine, and what are the percentage will be allowed in India. Now what next? This law has been enacted from this year only, but there are a lot of issues and challenges are still there. People are talking about this law as toothless, do not have, don't mention any punishment, and there is no issues regarding to the target of collection, recycling target or generation target talked about, and they are talking about the technical auditing of the 73 authorized recyclers or approved recyclers are also been not taken up care. So lots of issues are there. In coming years, hopefully, this also will be addressed. But having a law, country like India, we having 1200 million population, and without giving a technical solution, it is really a issue. So, Department of IT, being a line Ministry of Electronics, this is entrusted on me, in us, so that we have a stable recycling mechanism. Whatever recycling practices till dates is available in India is basically, we do not have an end-to-end recycling in India. End-to-end mean we cannot treat the printed circuit board. We collect the recycle, segregate it, and we sorting it by the value from the market, like refurbishable elements and reusable elements. After that, dismantle them, and whichever components and modules are workable, we make it and sell it in the secondary market. And those are generating by the scrap, we are selling it to the metal scrap, plastic scrap, battery, CRT glass. But if you are talking about low and high quality of PCB, that printed circuit board, we generally sending it to the European country, mostly UMIC or Belgium, for recycling. This part, whatever is highlighted just now, has been done by formal and non-formal recyclers, a very efficient way. But the PCB sending PCB to the PCB smelters in Western country, and the non-formal sectors are trying to extract value metal, precious metal, by the hazardous practice in our country. This is the issue. This part has to be addressed. So this is the three major elements we can collect from e-waste, and these are the available technology: plastic, metal and glass. Plastic can be taken by the chemical recovery, material recovery and energy recovery, and metals can be recycled in smelting, hydrometallurgy, electrometallurgical process, and glass can be also recovered, value material from it by smelting and material recovery process. Now, what are the issues? Here, non-formal sectors, 95% e-waste has been handled by them. They are using the manual handling of dismantling the things, removing components by heating in the coal-fired grill, bare hand, crude recycling methods, recovering precious metal, especially gold, copper, and silver, and their yield is very poor. They are losing most of the metals. 10 to 20% is the yield. Stripping the metals from the open pit, the gold and other metals, shipping and metallic plastics in proper ventilation. So these are the issues needs to be addressed. And so if you have a proper recycling technology in our country, so the law can also be implemented, or the metals or value materials can also be recovered, and this is a social responsibility also. If you see this slide, this is showing some of the metals will not be there enough from our earth another few years. Like if you are talking about tantalum, it is having a very useful metals for having a tantalum capacitors for a high storage capacity. So this is our duty for the future generation to save the tantalum metal. So if you see another data from EMPA Umicore, it is showing 2008, there are 1300 million of PC is having silver of 325 metric ton, 31 metric ton of gold, 12 metric ton of lead, and 12,000 metric ton of copper, and 4,900 metric ton of cobalt, and that is almost 3, 4, 16, 1 and 1% of the total share of the global mining. So these metals are going to our electronics. So this is our duty to save those metals. And so secondary mining, the electronic waste recycling, is must in our society at present days. This is a figure taken by CPCB that's showing that in TV, your PC and refrigerator, how much metal components glass, plastics are available for recovery. So this is a DIT's initiative in green electronics and e-waste management. We are trying to develop a cost-effective, environment-friendly e-waste recycling technology. We are promoting R&D to eliminate hazardous material from the electronics, to promote the awareness of all the stakeholders, promoting the environment-friendly electronics manufacturing, and trying to improve design of electronics so that hazardous metals or materials are eliminated from the product, and also sensitizing the researcher communities by writing article, reports, etc. So these are some of the initiative already has been taken, finding out the recycling technology for precious metal, plastic, glass, and promoting that, explore the possibility of hazardous material from the environment-friendly things. So this is one of the successful project we did in National Metallurgical Laboratory, Jamshedpur, for recycling the PCB. And here we have done this project to the 95%. 1 metric ton e-waste has been done in the pilot plant stage, and 95% is the yield, and we are taking some steps to find out the commercial application also. This is the flow chart for this project. Mainly you have done the physical beneficiation methods to segregate the metal part, and after that chemical leaching method. So another project we have taken here in the printed circuit board has been depopulated by the centrifugal means, and after that we will be using the pyrometallurgical route. This is this project is going on, and this will be the tentative flowchart for that project. And this is another project for recycling the plastics, and we are doing it in CPET, and we have found there are 7 categories of plastics, and 27% of the plastics are there in the electronic waste. So we have taken that in the 3 plastics, halogenated flame retardant plastics, and what is the volume is used in electron.
Perhaps another minute or so.
Pardon.
Another minute, you'll be able to conclude.
Okay, just a minute. So this is another raw substance. This is the testing certification facility in CMAT, Hyderabad. Now, this is another UNDP program along with DIT, is concluded in 2003. Now, apart from that, we are doing some reducing the lead-free metals, lead-free X-ray absorption. Some of the projects also we are doing, photovoltaics area, organic film area. So these are some of the publication we have done. Now you can leave it. These are some of the good practices in formal sector in abroad. We have changed our things also in India. This is also the good practices are shown here. Now, what will be the conclusion? Presently, the e-waste is being done in non-formal sectors. So, why we propose that this recycling till PCB can be done in our country or in any developing country, so that the PCB is 5% to the whole e-waste. So, if you can do recycle it properly, this PCB can be an input material for recycling. And our recycling yield is very poor in non-formal sector, 10 to 20%, and this can be done in the better technology in developed country, and we can save or extract most of the metals from this. Thank you.